he came up with the Sting Crow character. That was all Scott Hall. That wasn't Sting. That wasn't me. That was Scott Hall.
So Sting, his legendary career wrapped up in March of 2024 at AEW Revolution. The amazing career he did have, spanning nearly 4 decades. He still wrestled into his early 60s, believe it or not, amazing as that is, doing the things that he was doing, especially in AEW right at the end there, taking some massive bumps, so full credit to Sting. Of course, started off as the Surfer Sting with the blonde hair, had some great success with that character as well, but as wrestling was starting to change and we got into the mid-90s, Sting knew that he needed to change his persona as well. And he did that with the invention of the Crow Sting. Of course, heavily borrowed from the Brandon Lee movie of the same name that was released in 1994. But Sting was able to make this new character his own. Dark and mysterious, using his black baseball bat to do his talking, rappelling down from the rafters. This was a complete 180 for the Stinger. And so where did the inspiration for this character come from? Well, we already mentioned it with that Crow movie, and you can clearly see it's heavily taken from that. But it was Scott Hall who came up with the idea of Sting to change into that character. Hall put the idea out there, told them how they should do it, and it was done. And Sting, to his credit, pulled it off just flawlessly, and actually kept that character from 1996 right to the end of his career, still wearing that black and white face paint to the very end, wrestling over 25 years as that character. And so let's go a bit more in depth on it now as we hear from Eric Bischoff, of course former boss of the WCW, and he's chatting with Stone Cold Steve Austin, revealing how indeed it was Scott Hall who came up with that Crow character for the Stinger. Let's go check it out.
How long have you had the nickname Eazy-E?
Scott Hall gave that to me.
I knew
somewhere
Scott Hall
along the way.
gave you that. I was going to say, one of 2 people gave you that name. Scott Hall was going to be my first. Kevin Nash going to be my second.
No, it was Scott Hall.
Scott Hall.
Yeah, it was Scott Hall.
God dang, how smart is that guy?
He's amazing. He is amazing. And I've said this before, and I'll say, and I owe it to him. We owe it to him. He needs to hear this again. When his head was right, he had more instinct and better vision and a better feel for this business than anybody I've ever met, bar none.
Dude, it's funny. Through DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, our mutual good buddy, I started calling Scott Hall every here and there, and I'll just ring him out of the blue. And I've probably only had maybe 4 conversations with him on the phone. It's not like we're phone buddies. But we'll just start talking about the business for 10, 15, 20. And you'll hear some stuff come out of that guy's mouth. It's like, holy shit. And I've been around the horn a few times. I've been pretty damn high and started pretty damn low. And you hear his spin on things. It reminded me a lot of riding down the road with Ravish and Rick Rude, because he loved to talk about the business. They kind of had the same mind, but Scott even deeper so than even Rick. And so I agree with you. Just the way he talks about things, and sometimes he'll talk about a match, and he'll go into too specifics. He'll start talking about percentages, and he'll start talking about finishes. But a great mind for the goddamn
amazing
business.
And when NWO was really first getting going, and it was a collaboration, believe me.
Whose idea was it to start the NWO?
It was mine.
Okay,
it was mine, but it was my idea originally. But that idea morphed. So the idea that I had was different than what we all saw on television because Scott got involved, because Kevin got involved.
Right.
You know what I mean? So nobody can claim ownership to it. I've read so many people, taking credit for that. It's ridiculous. But I'm here to tell you that there were meetings that we had in '96 and '97 and Scott was clear-headed when he came in, and he would sit and we would start laying out stuff, and the shit that he came up with sometimes just it almost took my breath away. Right. He came up with the Sting Crow character. That was all Scott Hall. That wasn't Sting. That wasn't me. That was Scott Hall. He created that. I was in the room when he created that character,
right,
word for word. And Sting went out and did it, and it was magic. It was magic.
What'd Sting think?
Sting was open at the time because that was post the NWO. He ended up not being the third guy, which he was going to be if Hogan wasn't going to do the deal. and he was looking for that one thing. He knew NWO was hot, but he knew NWO needed, a protagonist,
Right.
and he was going to be that guy.
Yeah.
And he loved Scott's vision of that character. It was cool.
So big praise there from Eric Bischoff and Steve Austin on the brilliant wrestling mind of Scott Hall. Hall, of course, got his big break in the WWE when he came in as Razor Ramon. That proved to be a very popular character. But it was in 1996 when Scott Hall and Kevin Nash came to the WCW and they completely helped flip the wrestling world on its head. They were coming in, jackknife power bombing Bischoff. They started the NWO at Bash at the Beach, of course, with Hulk Hogan. And Hall and Nash, along with the whole NWO concept with Hollywood Hogan and everything thrown in there, that is what helped WCW to get to the stage where it got to and helped them to defeat the WWE for 83 straight weeks in the ratings. And while I'm at it, I'll mention the match between Sting and Scott Hall that took place at Uncensored in 1998. It was for Sting's world title. A cool match. Dusty Rhodes was involved as Hall's manager. If you haven't checked that one out yet, check it out. It's a cool fight. And of course, it was sadly in March of 2022 when Scott Hall passed away, 63 years of age. Had his ups and downs, but was truly an innovator in the wrestling world. He knew what he was doing in there, had great ideas, and he truly goes down as a wrestling legend himself. So there it goes, guys, the origins of the Sting character. A persona that, in the end, Sting made his own. The fans really loved it. They were so into it. In fact, I took a poll here on my channel of what fans considered to be their favourite persona from Sting, his favourite look. And with around 800 votes coming in, the majority was well in favour of the Crow Sting, as you can see here on this poll. Hands down. So there it goes, guys, to a legendary wrestling career of Sting, and certainly rest in peace, Scott Hall. Thanks for tuning in, guys, and we will see you next time. Thanks heaps, guys, for tuning into the video. Be sure to drop a scorpion death drop on that like button and subscribe to the channel for more awesome pro wrestling action from the WWE, the WCW, and much more.